Yo, 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 what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to another episode here on Jets Media, Monday Night Sports Talk. We got the boys in the building, Ali, Jack, and myself. We'll be giving you guys a little update on what's going on in Jets land, give you guys all the latest news about the Jets offseason. Who the hell is going to be our quarterback? That's the question everybody wants to know, and unfortunately, we're not going to know that answer for quite some time. So with that being said, welcome into the show tonight. I hope everybody in the live chat tuning in is having a fantastic night. How are you, fellas? What's going on, Jack?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. Had a good day. Just ate some fruit, some trail mix.
Love to hear it, man.
And staying healthy. And
That's the key.
I'm ready to talk some Jets, even though I have no idea what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we have no idea. We have nothing really planned tonight, so we're going to feed off of everybody in the live chat in tonight's show. Ali, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, guys. Honestly, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I'm just on this podcast right now, so let's see.
Yeah, this is going to be a very spontaneous one because, as we know, there's not really a lot of news circulating around the Jets or the NFL in general because it's the offseason, and we still got a couple weeks until free agency, but now is the time for us to speculate. What do we want the Jets to do here? What do we want the Jets to do there? Are we going to re-sign him? Are we going to sign that guy? Are we going to trade for him? Are we going to draft this guy? All offseason is all about speculation, and that's what this episode will be all about. I'm excited. If you guys are new to the stream and you guys did not hit that thumbs up button, make sure you do so. Let's get the goal for this stream is 100 likes. So if we can get 100 likes by the end of the stream, that will mean a lot. And if you're not subscribed to Jets Media, make sure you do so. As you guys know, I've not been posting on this channel in the last week. I did post a video today. My apologies. I was away visiting my sister, so I did not get a lot of time to make content, but I got a lot of offseason plans here on Jets Media. This week, I'm going to post a mock draft for the Jets, mock offseason draft profiles. There's a lot of stuff coming on Jets Media, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So what's going on, everybody in the chat? Welcome in. If you guys have any questions, this is going to be a very live Q&A throughout the entire thing. So shout out to George, shout out to Eddie, Kid Perfect 12. What is going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a fantastic night. We got people saying Sam Darnold staying. Interesting take. So I went on Twitter and asked if anybody wanted to ask us any questions. Only two of you guys gave us questions. So we're going to get into those first. So the first question from Twitter is from Lynn Gallagher. And it states, what if the Jets traded down with the second pick and up with the 23rd pick to take Mac Jones? Could trade with a team like the Chargers or the Vikings not taking a quarterback. So this speculation is, okay, maybe the Jets are not in on a top quarterback like Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. They'd rather trade down and then get a guy like Mac Jones. One thing about Mac Jones that came out today, which is pretty interesting, Devontae Smith said that he got asked in an interview, who's the better quarterback, Tua or Mac Jones? Obviously, he has experience with both, and he said Mac Jones is the best quarterback out of those two. Sorry, Dolphins fans. But, so this is a question. Honestly, me personally, I don't think that's going to happen, but is it possible? 100%. So, Ali, what's your take on this question? And do you think it's possible that the Jets are going to target Mac Jones late in the draft?
I mean, I think everything's on the table, especially in the draft. Every quarterback's available. There was a report today, like the obvious Ian Rappaport saying that they're going to look at every prospect. They're going to look at everyone before they decide on what they want to do with Sam Darnold and what they want to do with the quarterback position. And, they're going to look at everyone. They're going to look at Mac Jones. They're going to look at Justin Fields. They're going to look at Zach Wilson. All these pro days, they're all going to look at these guys in their interviews and see which guy's the best fit for them. And if Mac Jones checks all their boxes, they might have to pursue Mac Jones. You never know. That could be the wild card. We have absolutely no idea what Fields and LaFleur are thinking right now. We have absolutely no idea what this team is trying to do. And a lot of things I feel like the Jets are going to do this offseason and be very surprised for a lot of Jets fans because we just don't know exactly what they're anticipating. Obviously, the Jets are going to have their own takes. Jets fans are going to have their own takes and the obvious decisions. But this is their team now. This is a new coaching staff, a complete rebuild, and they're going to do whatever they can. And they're going to go through this process to figure out which quarterback do they want. Which quarterback do they want to lead this team. So they're going to go through the process. Mac Jones is not completely out of the picture, Obviously, it's a longer shot than Justin Fields or Zach Wilson type players, but it's an option on the table.
Yeah, and one news that did come out today from Ian Rappaport, which is not really breaking news. It's something that we already knew about this Jets quarterback search, but it's something that we should definitely consider. And that is the Jets will not trade Sam Darnold right this second until they go through the draft evaluation process, whether that's going to the pro days of Justin Fields and Zach Wilson, interviewing them one-on-one. They're not going to trade Sam Darnold until they speak with these rookie quarterbacks and they really have a sense of what they want to do. So what that tells me, I made a video about this morning for those of you guys that did not check it out. Make sure you do so. It just tells me that this Jets front office has an open mind right now. They do not have a decision being made, but they are keeping every single avenue open. They do not want to be impatient and just trade Sam right now, because I feel like if they do want to trade Sam, which I think they will do eventually, his value is only going to go more up the longer they hold on to him. I feel like if they want to trade Sam on draft night or the day before the draft, and now we have so much time to evaluate Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, all these quarterbacks, it's going to give the Jets a lot of flexibility, because all those teams that missed out on the quarterback free agency, missed out on the trade market, that are needing of a quarterback, those teams are going to go out there and call the Jets and say, listen, we missed out on all these guys and we want Sam Darnold, and we might get something even better than we can even imagine from Sam. So Jack, what's your perspective on this Ian Rappaport report this morning that basically said that the Jets are not going to trade Sam Darnold right now? And a lot of people expected it to be the next domino to fall. We saw Carson Wentz go to the Colts, and everyone's like, all right, the Jets are up next. They're about to trade Sam Darnold like next week. But this report tells me that they're going to hold on to Sam until they make their decision. It doesn't seem like they made the decision yet. So what's your thoughts on this report?
Yeah, it doesn't really surprise me personally. I feel like we know that Joe Douglas is the type of guy to investigate every option, and I wouldn't expect him to deal Sam too quickly. I still think that a deal for Sam is gonna probably get done eventually. That's the kind of the signs I've been getting over the last couple weeks or so. But I'm definitely not surprised with the news that it's not going to be in the immediate future. Because as we know, Joe Douglas leaves no stone unturned, and they're gonna do it. They're gonna do their research on this next quarterback, whoever it's gonna be. It could potentially be Sam. We have no idea. So yeah, I wasn't surprised by the news at all. I think it's very typical of what we've heard so far from the Joe Douglas regime.
Yeah, it's not anything new that the Jets fans figured out. I think what it told us is they're being patient with it instead of like, all right, let's get Sam Darnold off the team, because as we know, every single Jets fans has their own perspective on what they want to do with this quarterback position. There's a handful of people that want to keep Sam. There's a lot of people that want Zach Wilson. There's a lot of people that want Justin Fields. There's a lot of people that want to trade the entire team for Deshaun Watson. You never know what they're going to do. And it's pretty crazy because nobody knows. We all have our individual preferences, but nobody knows who the hell our quarterback's going to be. And that's so frustrating. I go to sleep at night like, yo, who is going to be the Jets quarterback? Because that is, in Joe Douglas's terms, the most important position in all of sports. So, Ali, what's your take on this entire report from Rappaport? Obviously, it's nothing that Jets fans didn't know already, but just give me your take.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said before, I mean, they're going to test everything. They're going to look at everything. It's a new coaching staff. They're not going to be like committing to Sam Darnold, who hasn't proved anything in the last 3 years. They're going to look at every single option. Joe Douglas did not draft Sam Darnold. This coaching staff did not draft Sam Darnold. So no one should be pressuring them to stick with Sam Darnold. I mean, there's no, there's a chance that they might want to see what they have with him, but there's a lot of risk there, with sticking with Sam Darnold, especially if you have a rookie quarterback that you like, but then you're like, oh, I want to stick with Sam Darnold. That's a risk. If you want Deshaun Watson and he's actually available and you miss out on that because you're going to stick with Sam Darnold, then he sucks next year. Even when you surround talent around him, that's a missed opportunity for the Jets. So this is a very, very hard decision, and that's why it's going to take a long time to figure out what the Jets are going to do. It's going to take till April to figure out who our quarterback is. And, time will tell, but they're going to look at all these options. This is what this coaching staff, they came into this organization and they have one of the most hardest decisions ever to make as a coaching staff together. Figure out who your quarterback is. there's no Russell Wilson on this team. There's no Patrick Mahomes on this team. The Jets are a question mark at quarterback, and they're gonna bring in whatever guy they feel best LaFleur can be successful with. So, you know, I like it. I like what they're doing. I like they're looking at all the options that they have because they do have a lot of options. They are in the driver's seat. They just got to make the right decision. So, I hope this goes well, and
I think we
I
think,
think
all right, I think we're losing Ali a little bit. You're lagging a little bit, Ali. So I'm just gonna take over real quick. Let's get into some questions that got asked on Twitter.
hopefully
This one is from Dawah Loggins himself. My apologies, Ali, for cutting you off, but you're lagging a little bit. So I'm just gonna take over. Yep,
Yeah.
and he lagged out. So
Yep.
Ali will be
There you
back
go.
in a sec. Don't worry. So one question from Twitter, Dawah Loggins at Adam Gase Burner. Why do some people want to keep Sam? Even if you think he has potential, the contract situation makes moving off of him a no-brainer. Also, why is Fields getting the Herbert treatment of last year? So I understand where you're coming from. I think that going into the Justin Fields situation last year, a lot of people did not think Justin Herbert's going to make it on the next level because they said that he can't read defenses. He can't scan the field. He does not make quick decisions. And that's exactly what people are harping on Justin Fields. So you never know. Everybody doesn't know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to evaluating prospects because there's a lot of people that are wrong. There's also a lot of people that are right. So I think that Justin Herbert is a very good comparison with Justin Fields because they are definitely similar prospects coming out of the draft, especially with all the criticism is pretty much spot on. And the second part to that question is why do people want to keep Sam even if they think he has potential because of the contract situation? So we found out that the contract, hold on, I'm going to get Ali back in the stream. What up, Ali? Welcome back, brother. Sorry, you lagged out a little bit. So this is a good question because actually we found out today that the salary cap is going to be different this year. And his question is, why do people want to keep Sam Darnold even if you think he has potential? The contract situation makes it a no-brainer. We should move on from him. So for those guys that do not know what's going on with the contract situation, I mean the cap situation, right? So we thought if we keep Sam this year and we extend him to a fifth-year option, we're going to have to give him $25 million in his fifth year. Now that the NFL has lowered their cap space for 2021, I think that's due because of the pandemic. They lost a lot of money. Sam Darnold will get $18.7 million instead of $25 million if we pick up his fifth-year option and he's our quarterback. So that's a lot of money that we thought that will be going to Sam. That's not going to Sam anymore. So, and if you compare it to a rookie quarterback at the second overall pick and to Sam Darnold for the next 2 years, it's honestly not that big of a difference. But you have to put in consideration, if you get a rookie on their contract, then you have 4 or 5 years of that flexibility. Sam Darnold, say we retain him his fourth year, say he improves, and then that fifth-year option, he plays at least better that we hope he will, and then we're going to have to extend him right away, which is 3 years from now instead of a rookie contract. So it's really confusing, obviously, but that really tells us a lot about the cap situation. So Jack, what's your thoughts on people that want to keep Sam, and what do you think they should do in terms of that because of the cap situation? Do you think it's because people that want to keep Sam Darnold, they say, no, it's okay. He's been in the organization. I feel like he's just a product of Adam Gase's failure. But other people think like, yeah, I think Sam's a good quarterback, but financially it makes more sense to move on from him. So where do you stand on that?
I mean, I'm just kind of right in between, man. Obviously, everybody knows I have my love for Sam, but if it's gonna put us in a financial burden to keep him around when realistically he hasn't proved anything over 3 years as a starter, then yeah, I mean, I say this all the time, and some people would think it's a cop out, but it's genuinely not. After so many years of just seeing this team lose, I will support whoever is the starter at quarterback next year, no matter who it is, because that means that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh trust this person to lead the team. So whether that be Sam or Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, it's fine with me. Ali, there he goes again. Later, Ali. See you in a few moments. But yeah, I mean, with the Sam situation, I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, obviously, Sam still has potential. He's 23 years old, and I think that he has some some film out there that just blows your mind, where if Patrick Mahomes made that play, we would still be talking about it right now, but then there are, the plays that blow your mind for the opposite reason, where he throws it directly to an opposing linebacker or cornerback or whoever. So, it's just been a matter of consistency for Sam. And obviously we're a more impatient fan base than most. I mean, that's just a fact. We expect better results by now, but it sucks. But either way, I will support who the quarterback is next year. And I know that sounds like a cop out, but it's genuinely not. I just want to see this team succeed. Robbie, good looks. Appreciate that. But
we got
yeah,
Ali
man,
back.
that's just where I stand. Ali, what's up?
Round 3.
Round 3, baby. But yeah, Jack, I agree with everything you say. I don't really think it's a cop out because one, this Jets quarterback search is so deep where we have no idea who we want. And me personally, I do not want to be holding on to one guy that I desperately want the most, and then we don't get that guy, and then I'm just depressed. You know what I mean? So I feel like for Jets fans, my advice to you guys is to be open-minded and look at every single prospect, every single trade avenue, and look at every single possible 2021 New York Jets starting quarterback in 2021 and get a little optimistic about each one because nobody knows what we're going to do. That's the crazy thing. Obviously, the majority of Jets fans, I think, are behind drafting Zach Wilson. There's a handful of people that rather Justin Fields. There's also a handful of people that want to keep Sam Darnold. And then there's a lot of people that want to go get Deshaun Watson. So listen, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for this New York Jets team to get their new franchise quarterback. I've said this multiple times here on Monday Night Sports Talk. I hope that this is the last offseason that we do not know who our quarterback is next season because it's frustrating. I do not like going into this without knowing who the hell our quarterback is. I really thought that when we drafted Sam, that was it. We all had high hopes. Every single Jets fan had high hopes with Sam. He's our guy. Hopefully he can be our quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years. And here we are 3 years later, and he regressed beyond comprehension, and the Jets are about to move on from him. And that's my prediction. I think that all the stars are aligning to moving on from Sam Darnold. The report that Ian Rappaport said today that basically that the Jets, they're not going to trade Sam until they evaluate each prospect. Well, if they really thought Sam Darnold was their franchise quarterback, then they would not be looking at quarterbacks in the draft. That's how I look at it. If you really think Sam's your guy and you think that he has all this talent that Robert Saleh raves that he has, then I don't think they would be doing this much homework on the quarterback spot. But then again, if you think about it in another perspective, you know what? They do the due diligence and be smart and make sure they can evaluate every single prospect. You never know. What if they go into the draft process? They go to Zach Wilson's pro day, Justin Fields' pro day, and then they feel like, you know what? I really don't think that either of these guys has the potential that Sam Darnold has. And that's possible. Is it likely? I do not think so. I really don't. I think that the Jets, if I had to guess, if I'm putting money on it, I think they're drafting a quarterback at 2. And then I think they're going to trade the 23rd pick back, honestly, and acquire more draft capital because that's just Joe Douglas. But listen, man, it's going to be a very interesting free agency. So, and draft and offseason in general. And it's such a dead period right now for Jets fans because we don't know what to do. What do we talk about? Is it a mock draft? Is it a mock free agency? It's all speculation. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. So every day we have no idea.
It's just frustrating because all you see is just speculation. There's nothing you can hold on to as fact, all you're reading about is potential scenarios that could occur. And it's just so frustrating having nothing set in stone. But yeah, it's a rough time, man. February sucks.
February does suck. So we're almost at March, which is very close to free agency. So we're going to open this up to a Jets Q&A. So anybody in the chat want to ask us 3 a question, make sure you send it in. We got a question from Taco Fall. Shout out to Taco Fall. He plays for the Boston Celtics, if you guys did not know. I'm just kidding. But thoughts on Sam Darnold and the 23rd pick for the 12th pick of the San Francisco 49ers. If the Jets decide to move on from Sam and they can make this happen, that's a great trade because we move up 11 spots in the draft. And we basically, we move up 11 spots for Sam. I'm down with this. What do you think, Ali?
if that was to happen, I would pretty much ask for the 49ers to either give a 5th round pick or a 6th round pick or some late round pick with that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's a little bit too much the Jets would give away. I think Sam Darnold could actually be really well with Shanahan, and they could get a good quarterback out of Sam Darnold. And the number 23rd pick, they can also get a guy that they also want, a wide receiver, O-line. So I think they got to offer more than just a 12th overall pick.
Yeah, I'm down for that swap plus a third or something like that.
A third would be savage.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot more from Sam than we can even imagine. That's my perspective. Just because I feel like the quarterback market is getting a little crazy,
It's getting slimmer, man. It's, and those certain teams are going to be looking at Sam like, all right, do I want to take a quarterback later in the draft, or do I want to take Sam Darnold, who's already had 3 years as a starter? He's had his ups and downs, but he's a young kid. And, I'd say most teams would probably roll with Sam Darnold if they only had to give up a first-round pick, and they could do it like a late first-round pick for Sam. Money.
And then this is coming from a 49ers fan. The Jets should draft Sewell, and they should draft Kyle Pitts. First round, build around Sam, and this is coming from a Niner fan. This is an interesting take from a non-Jets fan. What do you think about that, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, Penei Sewell, he's an absolute monster. But I forget who it was and what team it was, but recently there was some news in the league where somebody had been moved to the other side.
Orlando Brown for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, and he didn't want to play he didn't want to play right, or he didn't want to play left, or whatever it was. He was on the other side when he was used to playing the opposite. And Penei Sewell is a left tackle, so I wouldn't really want to move Mekhi Becton from the left tackle spot just because he's already had that year there and he's a tank. And we don't know how willing Sewell would be to hop in the right tackle spot. So I feel like Sewell's kind of a pipe dream at this point, although he is a monster. And whoever gets him is going to be drafting a beast for sure. Kyle Pitts I love, but I don't think he's going to be around for the Jets to get him. I think he's going to go before the 23rd pick. But that's just my opinion.
No, yeah, I feel you. I don't think that the Sewell thing is going to happen with the Jets for that exact reason. I don't think that we can have two franchise left tackles on the same team. Mekhi Becton is not going to want to move to the right side, and I don't think Sewell is going to want to get drafted and play on the right side either. So that's really my perspective of it. Ali, do you want to answer this one from Zachary? Who is your favorite late round player that you think the Jets should target? Whether that's third round, fourth round, I don't know. I know you do a lot of homework on the draft. So who do you think the Jets should target if you can just think of anybody on the top of your head in the late rounds?
So I actually have some breaking news for you guys. So I just got a text that the Jets have met with UCLA running back Demetric Felton. So the Jets are doing homework on the running back position. I think they met like a couple other running backs. So I do think the Jets are going to go heavy in running back, try to get someone in the draft and maybe in free agency. So I think a running back late could be the pick for the Jets. I think a wide receiver could be an option for the Jets as well. I'm just trying to continue. I've been looking at a lot of prospects. I've interviewed a couple prospects as well. And the depth in this draft is insane. I really do think that there's playmakers everywhere. The Jets could go out and get a kick returner or starting kick returner in this draft. They could get a couple of running backs, a couple of offensive linemen. And I feel like the Jets actually might maybe go tight end somewhere in the draft, possibly. So, what I'm hearing is I think this is, a running back is very likely to be taken in later in draft. I don't think it's going to be like a top running back like everyone wants. The Alabama running back who the Jets also met. I think the Jets are going to be a little bit low key about the running back position.
Yeah, man, that's a smart way to do it. I think that this system in place for the Jets that they're running with LaFleur is a running back by committee type of style where we don't really need that running back one bell cow that gets 25, 30 carries a game. It's a type of system that any running back can they're gonna split carries, whether that's running back 1 through 3. And I feel like that the Jets are going to get another running back in the later rounds to pair up with LaMichael Pirine, Ty Johnson. And that's a really young, athletic, fun 3 running back group. If you don't count a free agent that's potentially can join in, like visualize that LaMichael Pirine, Ty Johnson with another rookie running back, and then a veteran. That's 4 running backs that I'm okay with. Obviously, we don't know who the rookie would be, if he's going to be any good, or if we get a free agent, but we will see. I think, and also Jack, the Jets did interview with that Buffalo running back,
Jared Patterson, baby.
Jared Patterson. Jack is a former Buffalo attendee.
Buffalo Bull, I think.
Buffalo Bull.
I think they're the Bulls. I really don't even remember.
Yeah, so that guy's a dog. So if we get him, I'm down. I remember he had like the craziest like game ever. Like didn't he have like 10 touchdowns or something crazy like that? I don't even know.
I think he had an 8 touchdown game. And
Insane.
they play in like the MAC conference. Like they play against like Akron and like Central Michigan and schools like that.
Yeah.
But I mean he could still definitely be a late round guy.
I'm down for it. What do you think of the Marcus Maye situation? So basically the Marcus Maye situation is, I think that they're going to franchise tag him. I think all the rumblings around Marcus Maye, that's what they're going to do. I don't think that they're going to let him test free agency. At least that would be the smart move, because you cannot let Marcus Maye run out the door. We have not used a franchise tag since 2014. That's way too long. And that franchise tag will be perfect because Marcus Maye is the exact type of player you want to franchise tag. What you want to do with this franchise tag in general for any team is you want to keep a player that is crucial to the core of whatever position he's in, and you don't really feel comfortable of extending long-term. Because again, Marcus Maye, he's coming off his rookie contract, but he's a little up there in age. He's 28 years old. I think that's entering your prime. I think for safety, he's not the youngest, athletic, speedy guy, but Marcus Maye has the evolved mind of that safety position, and he mastered it, in my opinion. I think he's borderline top 10 safety, and I'm expecting them to franchise tag him. At least I hope, because if they let him walk out the door, they don't franchise tag him, they don't extend him, they don't re-sign him, that is a huge mistake from the Jets. Let's see. Any other questions that I see in the chat?
Wouldn't it be awesome if the Jets had like the best player in the league at any position?
Quinnen Williams will become that when Aaron Donald retires.
Like,
I don't know.
Remember the Revis days when like you wouldn't even hear Revis's name all game because he was just shutting down whoever was silly enough to try and run routes on him.
I don't want to sound biased, but I think Mekhi Becton has a chance to be that.
I hope
maybe
so,
not.
man.
Maybe not the bona fide best left tackle in the league, but I think as he gets more comfortable, and obviously the biggest issue with Mekhi is not his play on the field, it's his availability. So if he can play all 16 games next year and dominate, I think he'll be in that conversation, because that man is a finisher.
Totally.
Like, did you guys see the tweet actually that I forgot which reporter tweeted it, that if the Jets want to go get Deshaun Watson, Quinnen Williams might have to be involved? And then Mekhi Becton quote tweeted it a gif of like, no, not happening, no chance. And then Quinnen actually responded with laughing emojis.
I love that.
I know, it's kind of like, it scares me because like, I love you, Quinnen. I want you to be here forever, but like Deshaun, I don't know. And then like,
I feel like Quinnen Williams is like Robert Saleh's new like prized possession. I feel like Robert Saleh like does not want Quinnen going anywhere. But you're right, man. I mean, I said this earlier, and I'll stand by it. Like, if it takes that to bring in Deshaun Watson, then you have to do it. But we don't have to get into that right now. That makes me sad.
Yeah, it does get me sad. What if we trade Sam to the Washington football team for the 19th pick? This is a pipe dream for the Jets at this point. I don't think that this is likely, just because, like, wow, if this happens, then we have the draft capital to really build around a rookie quarterback or a trade for Deshaun and win next year. I mean, it's that simple. Ali, do you think this is realistic, or do you think this is just a pipe dream for us Jets fans?
I think it's a dream, but that would be ideal. I do think it will be ideal for Sam Darnold. I think it will be ideal for the Jets. I think the team that they're developing in Washington is going to be special. I really do. I think the defense is it's solid. It's one of the best defenses in the league. And then you have McLaurin as your wideout, and then you have a great run game. And I think the Jets have never had a solid run game with Sam Darnold being the quarterback, and I think that helps a quarterback no matter who it is. So, I mean, if we traded him to Washington, I mean, I would hands down do it right now. I don't care if you haven't decided if Sam Darnold's going to be your quarterback or your rookie going to quarterback. You do it. I mean, it's a first round pick, and you get 3 first round pick, and you can make an offer to the Texans, and maybe still even have a first round pick remaining. I mean, that possibly could happen for them. So, I would do it in a heartbeat for sure.
Yeah, I think if the decision is to move on from Sam, which is looking like it, I think that's very possible. I don't know about everybody else. Obviously, 89%, if not 90% of people want to move on from Sam Darnold, but there's definitely a handful of people that want to keep Sam. I don't know where you guys stand on this, but what do you guys think Sam Darnold will be on another team like Washington or even the 49ers or maybe Chicago, some of these teams? Like, what do you think Sam's going to do over there? I'll start with you, Jack. Like, what do you expect from Sam? Like, say he goes to the Washington football team. Is Ron Rivera a proven coach? He has a very good defense, and he has a run game. He has weapons around him. Like, what do you expect from Sam in another system?
I mean, I would expect him to, have some similar struggles, but eventually I would expect him to find his way and, start to thrive eventually. I mean, that would just the situation you described with, a fantastic defense and, a solid run game and an actual weapon out there in somebody like Terry McLaurin and a head coach that's actually respected in the NFL like Ron Rivera. And that's where the New York Jets failed Sam is, we didn't do anything to build around him. We hired Adam Gase to coach him we didn't even hire a real quarterbacks coach. So, if Sam hasn't played for a real organization yet, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get too worked up about it right now, but he's played for the most like dysfunctional pro sports team I've ever witnessed for the last 2 seasons. I mean 3 seasons, but 2 seasons with Adam Gase. So where it really, really went downhill. His rookie year, I was fine with. I mean, he didn't light it up, but I saw that all the potential was there. We were hyped to get some new staff in the building, and ownership just got it totally wrong. Now we all hate Peyton Manning, which sucks because I grew up loving Peyton Manning. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't even remember how I started. I don't remember where I started this, so now I'm just ending what I had to say.
No, yeah, I think that I honestly want to say something. I think it's a little over aggressive in what's going on right now with the Sam Darnold hate. I think that Jets fans are ruthless, honestly, on Twitter, just roasting the guy. Yeah, we understand that he completely collapsed in his 3rd year. He progressed in every category 2nd year, and then he just stunk it up. But listen, there's still a chance that the Jets think that he's the guy. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely not. But I genuinely believe that Sam Darnold is a franchise quarterback, and I think that he's going to thrive on another team when we trade him, especially if he goes to the 49ers. Like I always said, Sam will thrive on a system like the San Francisco 49ers with Kyle Shanahan. That's exactly what we're brewing here. I don't know about you guys, but I think that Carson Wentz is just an example of a quarterback going to another team. I think Carson Wentz is going to revive his career, especially with Frank Reich, because he's the reason that Carson was playing like an MVP at that season before he tore his ACL, unfortunately. You never know. Some quarterbacks just need a different scenery, and maybe Sam's time is up with New York because, put yourself in Sam Darnold's mind, right? He's looking all over the media. The Jets are in the quarterback search. The Jets are potentially moving on from Sam. What do you think is going through his head? I feel like at this point, they just can't keep him because Sam, all the press conferences in training camp, oh yeah, this Jets organization, wasn't even sold on you. Say hypothetically they kept him. I don't know. I just don't feel like the Jets are going to keep Sam Darnold because of these issues and they want to start refresh. I'm just rambling about this quarterback situation right now because it's so infuriating that nobody knows what the hell is going to happen. And I just can't believe that Adam Gase just completely ruined our prized possession in Sammy D. You got anything to add on that, Ali? Because I don't know what else to say.
I mean, it's the reason Jets Twitter is fired up, man, because there's mistakes he makes. There's mistakes that you've seen he makes. And I think the best thing for him is to leave. and get a new start somewhere else. I think that's the best thing for Jeff fans mentally and him mentally. And I do. He's still very young. He's still like Joe Burrow's, almost Joe Burrow's age. So like, I mean, he's still young. He still has talent. I do think, but a team trusts him. That's why the Jets have received calls. Teams want him, and to revive his career. If some team takes a chance on him, they think the coaching could help him fix him. The Jets did not have the coaching at that time to fix him. And the reason I don't think the Jets are going to try to move on from Sam Darnold is because he sucks. Is because they want a guy they want. A new head coach wants his guy. I mean, if he's here for a long haul, I mean, Salah signed a 4 or 5 year deal. I mean, he wants his guy for that long, and that's how it is. I'm not hating on Sam Darnold. I still think he's a great talented guy. He's made a lot of mistakes. He's regressed a lot, but the best thing for him is to move on. The Jets to move on, start off fresh. I understand people want to draft an offensive lineman. Try. What if it doesn't work? What if all this work? All right, we get wideouts, get an Allen Robinson, get Joe Thuney, get Sewell, get another wideout, whatever it is, and it doesn't work out. You fail. You failed it, and you're not going to sign him next year, and you're back in the quarterback market the next offseason. So they got to make the decision correctly to make at the quarterback position. The best thing, in my opinion, is to move on from Sam Darnold, start fresh, and give him a fresh start.
Yeah, man, that's what I think is going to happen as well. I think that's the most popular opinion throughout the Jets fans, and I also think that's the majority of like the thinking around the media. There's obviously these NFL experts that are doing these mock drafts, and most of them have the Jets drafting a quarterback, and I feel like that's just the genuine consensus around the Jets. Like, all right, Sam Darnold's a talented guy, but maybe financially it makes more sense to move on from him, and we should start fresh with a brand new quarterback on a rookie contract. So I don't know, man. I'm just so over talking about this Jets quarterback. I noticed that we got over 100 people in the stream right now. Welcome in everybody in the live chat. Shout out to everybody. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys are new to the stream and you guys did not hit that thumbs up button, make sure you do so. We got almost 40 likes. Let's see if we can get this up to 100 likes by the end of the stream. That will mean a lot to us three. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate that a ton. So let's just open up to another Jets Q&A. Anybody in the chat that wants to give us any questions, feel free to do so. Let's see. Anything. Darnold can make any throw. If we run a West Coast offense, Sam can thrive. Yeah, man, this is the argument of keeping Sam, absolutely. I think that Sam Darnold thrives in the exact offense that we're implementing, but it's just a huge risk, man. It's just a huge risk. Like Ali said, if we keep Sam, we build around him, and he stinks it up again, we're right back to square one, and we kind of just wasted a year. And that scares me. Really does scare me. But then again, if you think about it this way, what if we do draft a quarterback? And what if 3 years down the road, the quarterback's and Sam Darnold's on the team thriving? Any situation you could think of is just like, oh my gosh, who knows? But we'll see. We'll see. This is a good question that one of you guys can answer. Number one, targeting wide receiver in free agency. So, Ali, do you expect the Jets to go all in on getting a top-tier receiver in free agency? And if so, who?
I don't think so. I don't think that's the Joe Douglas way of getting a wideout. And I think they're going to go maybe a Curtis Samuel, maybe a Will Fuller or someone like that. I think they're going to test the market, obviously, and see what Allen Robinson is offering, or Godwin. I don't think Godwin's going to be available. And then if Galladay somehow escapes a franchise tag from the Lions, I think those two guys are going to obviously go after and see if they can make it happen. But I don't think they're going to break the bank for it. I think there's a lot of talented wide receivers. I do like Curtis Samuel a lot. I think he's a type of guy that LaFleur can have a lot of fun with. He can do almost everything. He's a speed guy. And I think the Jets are going to get a wide receiver. I think they're in free agency. They maybe grab one or two. In the draft, they should draft one or two. I don't think Joe Douglas is going to make that mistake again, where he only drafted one wide receiver last year in a really deep class. So, I think they're just going to be all over that position. And yeah, they're not going to break the bank for it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that Joe Douglas is in the market right now for a top tier receiver. We keep hearing rumblings about Will Fuller. I have mixed emotions about that. One, simply because he has injury concerns. When he's on the field, he plays spectacular. He's one of the best deep threats, honestly, in the NFL. If you look at the stats, he has the most yards per reception. Not the most, but he's up there. And he's a guy that was a former first round pick, and his only problem was durability. The Jets' problem throughout this entire last season was the durability issue with the wide receiving group. Everybody was hurt. It seemed like we had Chris Hogan start for the Jets at wide receiver. That's who Sam Darnold was throwing the ball to. Chris Hogan is now pursuing a career in lacrosse again. Oh my God, that is just terrible to think about, man. Absolutely terrible.
Don't forget about Jeff Smith.
Yeah, Jeff
What
Smith,
about
he's a good guy.
what about Lawrence Cager?
Yeah, you're right, Jack. You're right. So, Jack, this is a good question for you to answer. We're still restocking our roster. What are our top 3 needs?
So I would say quarterback aside, let's not talk quarterback here. Quarterback aside, I would say interior O line, so mainly guard, because we're realistically going to have Connor McGovern playing center again this year. So guard for sure, edge rusher for sure, and cornerback, I would say. Obviously, we need another receiver, and we probably are going to go get a running back as well. But I feel like those positions can be assessed um, easily in later rounds as well as earlier rounds. So I feel like we should use those premier picks on on the premier positions like offensive line and like edge rusher, and we desperately need help at corner. And there's some solid first round cornerback talent this year. So I would say definitely interior O line, edge rusher, and cornerback.
Yeah, I agree. I think those 3 are crucial for the Jets' success. And we all know that Joe Douglas's priority since he's got here is build through the trenches. And the top 2 needs is the trenches on both sides of the ball, interior offensive line, edge presence. I feel like that we have a very exciting young core on that defensive line, whether that's Quinton Williams, Foley Fatukasi, Jonathan Franklin Myers, even Nathan Shepard showed up a lot last year. That gets us very excited for our interior defensive line. Who's going to be our edge presence? I think that we have a lot of holes on that spot. And the cornerback position, I feel like we've been missing a true corner one since Darrelle Revis. I mean, nobody's going to replace Revis because that's one of the greatest cornerbacks to ever live. But we need somebody to come in here, and whether that's via draft or free agency, but we need to get a number 1 corner because without that, we're going to get beat deep, especially in this division with a guy like Josh Allen who's going to have Stephon Diggs. We need somebody that can lock down these top tier receivers because our defense is going to get beat deep a lot with the cornerbacks we have on a roster. I think every Jets fan has a lot of hope into Bryce Hall. We only saw a half a season from him. He showed a lot of flashes, but I think that his potential on this team is a cornerback 2, if not backup. So we need to go out there, whether that's getting a veteran that can replace somebody like Pierre Desir, who is absolutely terrible, like Richard Sherman, or it's drafting a cornerback like late in the first round with our 23rd pick or the 34th pick. I think there's a lot of avenues they can do. So, Ali, what's your top 3 needs for the Jets? Would you agree with Jack, or do you have any other positions that you think that is more important?
I wouldn't say more important, but the tight end position is very important right now. I think with the offense, whoever rookie quarterback, whoever quarterback is, you need a solid tight end. We Chris Herndon obviously is a question mark right now. We don't know what's going on with him, but there are going to be free agent wide receivers. Tight ends available like Jonnu Smith, who can maybe escape the Tennessee Titans. I think they could pursue him. He's very young. I think he's only 25 still, and he puts up numbers. And especially in a high powering offense with the Tennessee Titans, I think he might want to look somewhere else. So he could be an option there. Obviously, free in the draft, I think there's a lot of targets. They are meeting with tight ends, so I think that's a position that they want to exceed in because obviously that Jets offense was last year. It was terrible. So they're gonna do whatever they can to bring playmakers in, especially young playmakers, and that can make a difference. So, those the needs that you guys listed are, those are the needs.
Facts, facts. We got somebody saying that they do not want Richard Sherman because they think he's kind of used up. In my opinion, the only reason why I want Richard Sherman coming to the Jets is way more than just his performance on the field. It's his that locker room presence. That's the guy that knows Coach Saleh's system. I don't know anybody that watches basketball or any Knicks fans, but I'm going to connect this to the Knicks because what the Knicks are doing right now with Coach Tom Thibodeau brought in Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson. Those two guys are the two guys that knows Tom Thibodeau's system the most, and their veteran presence that came here to the Knicks to instill his system in the young guys on the Knicks. What Richard Sherman would do to come to this Jets team on defense is more than just his play on the field. He's washed up. He's 32 years old. We know that. He would come in here and just teach every single young player on this Jets defense and even offense what Coach Saleh is all about. If there's any player in the NFL that knows Robert Saleh more, it is Richard Sherman. So I feel like Richard Sherman could be the exact same type of player that I compared it to on the Knicks. I feel like we need somebody that can just teach the young guys, this is what Coach Saleh is. This is what his system is like. This is what he wants. This is what he expects here. This is the looks here. Because there's obviously a lot that goes into the NFL. And I think that that is what I would love for Richard Sherman to come to the Jets for that exact reason. I don't expect him to come to the Jets and have 5 interceptions and going back to his prime days whatsoever. His value would be, it would not be cheap. It would not be expensive. It would be like a 2-year deal, maybe like 18 million or something like that. Maybe even less, way less than that, honestly, at a veteran minimum, because he did not get a lot of money last year. I think that that is a good reason to bring in Richard Sherman. Jack, would you be open on Richard Sherman coming here?
For sure, and for the exact reasons you mentioned as well. Obviously, we know he's past his prime, physically, but he's got that connection with Robert Saleh. He would be a great guy to have in the locker room. He's a character guy, um, at least at this point in his career. Um, but yeah, I'd certainly be down for it if only for the Saleh connection alone. I've heard him say some fantastic things about Robert Saleh.
And he's an
So
intellect. Like that man
exactly,
is
yeah,
super smart.
yeah, and he could come to this team and be one of the culture changers that starts to shift the minds of everybody in the building and the fans as well.
I agree, man. I agree. Um, let's see. Anything else? Yeah, Salah will decide what to do with Sherman. He knows best. Facts. Agree. Um, anything in the chat that we would say? Richard Sherman is a culture changer. He can still be solid in the slot or as a safety, which he said he's willing to do. That's a very good take as well. I think Richard Sherman's at a point in his career where he knows that he's not his prime self, and his role on the Jets would be to be that locker room presence. And the reason why I compared it to Derrick Rose on the Knicks is because Derrick Rose, 32 years old, way past his prime. Richard Sherman, 32 years old, way past his prime. The only reason why Derrick Rose is on the Knicks is to develop the young talent and instill the system with Tom Thibodeau. Richard Sherman, past his prime, 32 years old. It's a very similar situation. I feel like that's so important. I feel like in sports, any sport in general, a veteran presence for rookies or young players is so undervalued because we don't see it. We just assume it's happening, but we do not know what's going on in the locker room, what's going on off the field with these veterans teaching the young guys. And it's so important to have really intelligent veterans to teach the young guys. And I really think Richard Sherman would be beyond perfect for that role. Ali, what do you think about Richard Sherman potentially coming to the Jets? And do you think it's the right move?
I mean, if it's not a very big contract, and if he's not on the field as much, might as well. I mean, all the reasons you guys gave are valid, and with everything that's Sherman has seen, he's seen the Super Bowl, he's seen the big game. He could bring, he could teach, Bryce Hall, he could teach Bless Austin. He can teach all these guys to be better at the cornerback position, and they definitely need some help. Especially Bless Austin. He's a talented player. He makes some plays, but he also makes mistakes, like every cornerback does. So I think he can help him get to the next level, help Bryce Hall get to the next level. We saw some great flashes from him last year. And I think that's a guy that you bring in that could lead a secondary. And with Marcus May and Richard Sherman back there, I think you'll have a solid leader group in the back.
I agree, man. So this is a very good question. What is Denzel Mims' peak?
That is a
So
good question.
obviously, we all want his peak to be Calvin Johnson, Hall of Famer, right? That's unrealistic. I don't know. I'll switch it over to Jack. If you can compare Denzel Mims to a player that is reached his full potential already in the league, where do you think Denzel Mims is going to be? Obviously, we are very hopeful with Denzel, and without being trying to be as realistic as possible, but at the same time, I don't know.
I
Just
know.
give
I
me your
mean,
take.
it's tough to compare him to a player just because I feel like we unfortunately saw so little from him because he just wasn't, used or targeted nearly as much as he should have been this past season. But I think if you're asking what is his peak, I think his peak is, a top receiver in the league for sure. I mean, I think he has all the traits to reach that one day. Um, I don't know much about him personally at all. I hope he has the work ethic to reach that point one day. Um, but he's a big body. He has crazy extension when he goes full extension for it. He's got super reliable hands. He can make you know catches in traffic. He's one of the best at that. Um, and I'm just excited to see more from him. Hopefully, he's more of a focal point of this new offense that we're going to be running this year because I think he has all the physical traits and athletic abilities to be like a top 10, top 5 receiver in the league. Like, maybe even this year could be a breakout year. You never know. Like, um, everybody thought that Seattle reached with DK Metcalf, and I know DK Metcalf is like a superhuman, but like now he's like one of the top playmakers in the league. So you never know when a receiver can just have that breakout year. Excuse me, and I think it could definitely potentially happen for Denzel Mims. I think he's got so much potential.
Yeah, man. I really thought that Denzel Mims was going in the first round last year. I did not do a lot of homework on him last year going into the draft because the Jets did not have a late first round pick to get him. I expected him to go to the Packers or the Eagles or even the Vikings late in the first round. And I was shocked that he made it to the second round. And I expected him to go early in the second round. I remember because the first round of the draft is one night and then the next day is the second round. So I'm like, all right, who are the Jets getting at whatever we drafted last year? I think 48, and we eventually traded down. And I said, okay, T. Higgins is still there, Michael Pittman, Denzel Mims. Those are the guys who are going to be gone by the time we're up. And then somehow Denzel Mims falls. And there's always that guy that falls in the draft. And I think that Denzel Mims has every single trait that you want in a receiver to be good. I feel like his peak is going to be something that we don't expect. I feel like it's going to be something better, especially with a system that's so friendly with a receiver that gets people so wide open with these beautiful types of plays with the Shanahan style offense. Ali, what do you think that Mims' peak is?
I mean, I think he'll have a bounce back year, obviously, because obviously the injuries played a huge part of him not putting the numbers that we thought in coaching, obviously. But in an interview with earlier this a couple months ago, after the season ended, he said he does fit the new offense for the Jets offense pretty well. He it was similar to Baylor, he said, and I think he feels comfortable with this offense, and I think he has a ceiling that I don't think it's the Julio Jones whatever people are saying comparing him to Julio Jones level, but I think he could develop in being a solid wide receiver, and I think he'll be a reliable target. I think I think LaFleur will be able to utilize his assets and use his strengths and use that against other teams, and you know the route running concerns me a lot about Mims. I think if he can get that route running better, he could be a very unstoppable target and a lethal weapon for this team because we saw him be very aggressive. He's very lengthy. He does whatever he can to make a play for the ball. But if he can somehow make that route running much better, I think he could have a great year, and I think he could have a great future.
Yeah, man. I think that if Denzel Mims starts all 16 games next year, which is obviously a lot to ask for, he was very injured his rookie season. So that's something that you got to um, put into consideration with Denzel Mims' rookie season. He also was in a system that did not feed him the ball whatsoever. Whether you blame that on the quarterback or the coaching staff, it still doesn't matter because Denzel Mims did not get the target he deserves. He should have got way more looks. I don't understand why. I feel like he is a perfect guy for yards after the catch, and they did not utilize that. He's a breakout 80-yard touchdown waiting to happen. He ran a 4.38 at the combine. That is ridiculous for a guy that is 6'3" plus. If he has long legs, and if you can get him on a quick slant and he gets by the safety, he's gone. I mean, you're not catching Denzel Mims if you get him in the open field. And Adam Gase's system did not open up anything for him. And I feel like that this offense putting in place with Michael Floor is going to do just that. I think that his peak, honestly, with the Jets is going to be a starter outside receiver. And whoever we pair him up with on the other end is going to determine, I think, his potential as well, because we need to get somebody that's just as good, if not better, to take the stress off of Denzel. We also need to get that somebody in the slot. I think Jamison Crowder right now is a slot receiver, but there's a lot of question marks. Are we moving on from Jamison? Are we going to keep him because of the financial situation? And I don't know. I think that the Jets are going to go in the draft and get somebody later in the draft, and I think they're also going to get a big name receiver. I don't think they're going to the top. I don't think they're going to get Allen Robinson or a Kenny Galladay or Juju. I honestly feel like Will Fuller is going to be a Jet. That's my prediction at around $10 to $12 million. I feel like Will Fuller and Denzel Mims could be good, but there's definitely question marks around Will Fuller. I'm not saying I'm totally behind Will Fuller, but there's a lot of buzz surrounding Will Fuller and the New York Jets.
Can I just say one more thing about Mims?
Absolutely.
So, Ali, I totally get your point. I will say though that I feel like the route running is the most like coachable aspect of the wide receiver game. I feel like obviously you can't change his body and his body type and his physicality and his abilities as an athlete. Um, you can't really coach, incredible hands and being able to catch in traffic like that. But I feel like you can definitely coach up the route running. So I feel like Mims really does have a high potential, and I know you do too as well. I just wanted to say that I feel like the route running is a super coachable aspect of his game.
Yeah, the reason he declined last year and he didn't show all his potential is because of the coaching. No one coached him up.
Yeah,
That's the problem with the Jets last year. There was no coaches ready to coach.
I
That's
guess
what the
Hines
problem
Ward is a flop, man.
I guess so. He got fired, so I mean,
We got Miles Austin replacing him, so that's our new wide receiving coach, Miles Austin. I'm down.
So, I mean, I really do feel like Denzel Mims will have a much better year.
Yeah, man, I feel like that's a big X factor for the Jets. If we can get Denzel Mims becoming a very good receiver, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, that's going to help out this offense in a very, very big way. So we're going to wrap up the Monday Night Sports Talk. We like wrapping it up around 1 hour. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys did not smash that thumbs up button, make sure you do so. We appreciate everybody tuning in every single week on Monday night. Expect a lot more streams coming this week, and especially next Monday as well. We're going to do more Jets Q&A. We want to get everybody involved in the live chat, answer all your questions, and I'll be posting a lot of content about what the Jets should do in the offseason, free agency, draft prospects, a lot, all the 9 yards. And if you guys want to check out my YouTube channel over on Touchdown Kingdom, Jack and I are putting a lot of work into that. That will mean the world to me. Just hit 1,000 subscribers. So thank you for everybody that's showing me love over on Touchdown Kingdom. Again, thank you for everybody for tuning in. I see a lot of love in the chat. Shout out to everybody that tunes into these Jets Media live streams. And I want to thank Jack and Ali for always being here every Monday night, because without you guys, this show is not anything. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you. Any last words from you guys, Jack and Ali?
Yeah, well, thank you guys. It's been another fun night, and we'll be back next week. Thank you. Thanks to all the regulars. We appreciate you, and all the newcomers every week. We appreciate you guys as well. You guys make doing this stuff fun, and yeah, we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, it was a very active chat today. There was a lot of good questions. There was a lot of people interacting with each other in the chat, which is awesome to see. I know it's a dead period, so it's good to see people put it out their opinions, and everyone has a calm, awesome conversation in the comments. So again, let's have this next week as well.
Yeah, thank you for everybody in the stream for showing us so much support. It's a very active live stream tonight in the chat. So again, appreciate each and every one of you. Stay tuned for more Jets content here. And make sure you check out Ali over on its Instagram page at LoyalNYJetFans and his Twitter. That is all down below in the description. Also, make sure you check out Jack on Twitter. And if you want to check out his music, that is Jack Megale, Megale. So that does it for this episode. Stay tuned for more Jets content. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Later.